I remember a very happy childhood, actually, and the faith was part of that. I had first felt the call, like many cradle Catholics do, as a child, right? As an altar boy, serving Mass. I was serving Mass, I was kneeling at the side of the altar, and as the priest was elevating the Blessed Sacrament, and I was very vigorously ringing the bells, I had a feeling that that's going to be me one day. It wasn't gee, I wonder what it'd be like to be a priest, or maybe I want to be a priest. It was that's going to be me one day. And, but life happens as it so often does, and my priorities changed. So the day I graduated college, I was commissioned as an officer in the U.S. Army. And I spent 4 years in Germany, but 6 of those months I was actually in Saudi Arabia and Iraq for the Gulf War. And I was in the middle of the desert, literally the desert, barren, nothing to do, nothing to see, right? So I spent hours each evening just sitting on a sand berm, just looking up at the sky and contemplating the big questions. God became very powerfully real, and his church became very powerfully real, and just it became that moment of certainty in God's existence and his beautiful creation. So I went back, and again, distracted by the things of life. But that feeling of that faith in the desert, all those things kept calling me back, and I discerned priesthood several times in my life. The answer always seemed to be not yet. But when I moved to Memphis 6 years ago, the way the faith is lived in Memphis is absolutely beautiful. Catholics are 4.5% of the population. Many of them converts. They bring that zeal and enthusiasm of conversion with them. And the faith life is lived so beautifully in Memphis. And then I began to very seriously discern. And as I spent hours in adoration and prayer, the answer was, now is God, now is the time. And so here I am. I was in a men's spirituality group, and my first step was to talk to them and say, I think I might have a vocation. And that was affirmed with all the men in the group. Were like, Scott, you'll be a great priest. Yes, absolutely, you have a vocation. And I made an appointment to talk to my very, very busy pastor, and I had lunch with him. And before I could say anything, he's like, you want to be a priest, don't you? The diocese accepted me, and they said, we will welcome you as a priest in Memphis. However, you have to remove the obstacle of that student loan debt. You can't be ordained with that student loan debt. I am now working with the Labouré Society to remove that obstacle. I meet with people and have wonderful, amazing conversations. I pray with them, I hear their story, I tell them mine, and I ask if they'd like to make an investment in Catholic vocations, and the answer is almost always yes. If you have a vocation, and if you have the obstacle of student loan debt, and Labouré is the way to remove that obstacle, you owe it to God and you owe it to yourself to work with Labouré to remove that obstacle.